Hi everyone, thanks so much. We are talking about the Alpha Omega Trust today on the 16th of January 2026. Peter will be running through some documents, and this is an explanation and a call to action to other nations who might want to eventually do their own trustee, start their own trustee group with trusted people from that actual nation. So I'll hand over to Peter and he can start running through the documents.
So the Committee of 300 document here that I'm holding was created in 2007. It's signed off by the 300 presidents and prime ministers of the world, the full bench of the International Criminal Court, 17 judges, the full bench of the International Court of Justice, 15 judges, and numerous other ones. So anybody that says that this is a fraudulent document or this is a hoax, they're absolutely incorrect. There's a lot of forensic evidence in here that prove that this is actually true. So when going through this document, you'll see in your nation, and I'll talk about Australia because I don't know what the amounts are in each nation, but in each nation, like Australia, we had 9 banks that were given the funds, and in reference to that, we can talk about the ANZ Bank was given 1.1 trillion, the Westpac Bank was given 1.1 trillion, the Commonwealth Bank was given 660 billion, and so on.
That's right.
Now that money was given at 4% interest rate to mature over a time frame of 30 years. Now, after that 30 years, 50% of those funds were to be given back to humanity for prosperity or building programs, paying loans off, housing, community benefit programs, and so on. And the other 50% was to be put back into another 30-year rollover, and this program was to continue for eternity.
When did they actually give the money?
In 1967, they were given the money, but in 1997, the money was supposed to be released here in Australia and around the world, and it was not. They've kept it. So now we're at 59 years, and we've woken up to the fact that these prosperity packages were meant for of every nation. And here we've got the World Bank Infinite Statements, which shows in this document here all the different banks that were given the money. And I'll just read out quickly the basic statement for each bank in the world. And so it's confirmed that these eternal deposits, while under time deposits, its principal, balance and interest cannot be touched or loaned or programmed, that having maturity rate of 4% per annum and per 30 years of maturity, and upon maturity 50% shall be forcibly used for whatsoever development programs, and 50% shall be automatically and forcibly maintained and preserved for another 30 years and lasted for eternity. Now they haven't done that. So what's happened is that they have deceived us all and made money a scarcity. So we all sort of fight with each other, not knowing that it's a program to fight with each other to protect our future security. But there's an abundance in this world, and the global elite and the Committee of 300, when they have deceived us all and kept the money and not given it to us. So even though this Committee of 300 document that I had up before, people might say, well, why did they get it? Well, they got it because they're scamming schemers, and they didn't give it away to us. And so they could keep us in slavery while they've got all the money, and they do what they want, and they have mass prosperity. They can do what they want while we're all fighting with each other.
And I'd like to talk a little bit after what we have discovered. Then we met M1, and he's appointed trustees to act for this Alpha Omega Trust and act for all this money that has been kept away from the people. This was supposed to be dispersed to all the people, like Peter said. So we are the 2 of the trustees. There's 12 in Australia. We are 2 of, say, the nation known as Australia. We are the two trustees telling you about what we've done so far, and you get appointed a trustee through a vetting system, just through vetting to see what you've done and how we can work as a team and everything like that, because we want all the teams to be working in unity in their own nation. And really one of the things that we say is you have to be from that nation really to be a trustee for the Alpha Omega Trust. So what we'll be moving on to now, this is the first thing that we served, and we were able to go down to Canberra and we were able to serve the CEOs of the banks. So we're going to start talking about the CEOs of the banks and what we serve them and what that looks like.
Yep. So the first call to action would be to firstly get your head around it, see if you have the spirit to be a trustee. Doesn't matter about, you don't have to have any university degrees or anything. You've just got to have that desire for humanity to prosper and in your areas to prosper. You just have to have that drive. And there are many of yous out there. So after being appointed one of the trustees, we served a public notice, because these bank CEOs of the current day today do not know anything about this on the surface, so it looks. But we have to give them the benefit of the doubt to be proper ladies and gentlemen and to do the right thing. So what we did is we served them a public notice so that they were aware. And what they should have done after that was gone to the media and told everybody, oh, look, this money's been not given out to everyone, and done the right thing. But they didn't. We knew they wouldn't, because this is a massive amount of money. So then what we did is we served them, after 2 weeks, we served them a notice of final demand, because this is the lawful process you've got to go through to try and retrieve the money. And when you talk about, just for Australia, for instance, and some of your nations were given even more than Australia. If Australia's total debt's $1 trillion, and the amount we've uncovered that's owed is, let's say, approximately around $10 trillion, $9 or $10 trillion, it's a mind-boggling amount of money. So,
and I just want to say the RBA, for example, in Australia was given 12,000 metric tons of gold back in 1966. They should have been paying that out right now, January 2026. Actually, they've missed one payment. This is the second time they should have given something back to the people. So this is why we're doing it. They've taken the money, they've embezzled the money. Now they know. So what happens when they know? Now they know. What are they?
They've got mens rea, which is a guilty mind, and the act of concealing it continuously is the actus reus. So, which means that and like I said to the CEOs here, and you can see the videos, that since the time when we served you the public notice, you've got mens rea and actus reus, and you've got a guilty mind, which means you've committed the criminal offence of fraud and financial terrorism on the people of this nation. So, where it stands now, and we'll wrap up shortly, because there's no point going into this for people that don't want to really examine it, is that on the 7th, after we served them the final notice of demand, there was some money.
I just want to interject there. What we did, we served as many as we could in person at AGMs. Peter had to buy some shares in the AGMs. So we looked at them, we went to the AGMs, we got them there. We got them when they went down to Canberra and did their banking economics
standing committee.
Thanks, yeah, standing committee on economics down there. So we got 4 of them, all the major bankers, CEOs down there. They're very hard to catch, the CEOs. And what we also did was we registered mail them all, and we've got all the signatures that who's received it, and we've heard back from a few banksters as well.
Yes. So after we did that, there was a court case, not we, the other people who were fighting over the other side of the world, organised the court case to order compelling Tier 1 financial institution to open required estate fiduciary receiver accounts. Because what happened is, when we served the banks and we said, okay, you need to put the money back into the accounts that are on the World Bank statement, they said the bank statements don't exist anymore. So what that court case does is it now forces the banks to open an account, to start crediting the account with the monies that were put in there. Now, if they don't, they're in contempt of that American court case, and that American court case is international. So what we're doing here in Australia is we are using this document, plus a bunch of other documents to prove the funds, to file into the Australian courts to get an Australian court order, because we know what they do here. They say, oh, that's an international order, that doesn't apply to us here, but it does. But however, once we file it into the courts, and some people may be thinking the same as I'm thinking, the judge will run over it, or they'll side with the banks. Yeah, but if he does, is in contempt of the American courts, and many of the people in Australia know how we're tied to the American court system. Here, we're registered there as a corporation. But however, so what would happen, the next step after that would be that we hopefully get the court order for the Australian banks, and everybody can do that for their country. But you'll have to follow this process. You can't just go and get a court order. You've got to get set up, public notice of final demand, let that time frame go past, and then start accumulating your documents for the your country's court order to compel them to open up the accounts there. And then so once that happens, then they're in a really ugly position because the money's then has to be put in there, or they're going to go to jail. That's as simple as that. So it's either the judge goes to jail and then we get another judge, or the bankers go to jail if they don't put the money in there, or potentially they hand over the bank because the asset's so big that the banks potentially won't have all the money. But once that happens, then you'll have control of your banking system. And we won't go into on this video about what that means and what the power of that is, but this is just a call to action video to let people know what we've done and what the process is for your country, because you can all do it.
Yeah, in your own country. And then you can keep it in your own country. We don't want a one world currency. We don't want all of that. We want it to be, land and soil jurisdiction, and we can, take things back one step at a time. But this is a big step in the right direction. And I just wanted to say you can go to www.corruptionwhistleblower.com, corruptionwhistleblower.com, and you can see the videos there. So that's where we've got the documents you can see and download, and then you make them for your own country, make them for your own nation. So the documents are there, download them, make them for your own nation. Look at the videos that we've got, 3 major videos up there where we've served the CEOs. So all the information's there. You might have to watch the video a few times because Peter talks very in depth about everything, and I know he's very knowledgeable. But he explains it very well, and the process is in this video. So if you didn't get it, have another watch of the video and get your head around it. Have a look at the documents. This is not just a quick thing. This takes time to absorb this information and this process. But for those who know, they'll know and they'll step up. You'll feel a calling and you'll step up. And so we have 8 trustees here in Australia. Oh, sorry, we've got 12 in Australia, but you can have 8 to 12. We just say roughly 8 to 12. Some have got more, but again, isn't it? The more you've got, the more you're trying to balance it all out and everything. But we're finding 12's good at the moment. We're all getting to know each other, all meeting, seeing what our skill sets are, because you're trustees, you're a team. And that's how we want to begin it and build it from there. And then other people who want to help can help from the outside. We've got a team of lawyers. We can soon have a team of media. So and on it goes. But they all don't have to be trustees. You know what I mean? So and everyone supports everyone, and that's how it goes forward outside the system. Because this is the new system, really. This is part of prosperity and the new system. Like Peter said to start with, they put us in hardship, scarcity, starvation, warring. Doesn't have to be like that. We can have prosperity and justice and righteousness restored, and good food and clean air, and everything can come from turning this around. And we'll talk another time about how we've actually can have military on side and everything like that. But if you want to know more, email Peter or I at info@corruptionwhistleblower.com, info@corruptionwhistleblower.com, and like I said before, pop online and have a look at www.corruptionwhistleblower.com. You'll see all the videos and further explanations then, and all the paperwork. So that's all from me. Have you got anything else you'd like to say?
I'd just like to say that, look, what we've done is a guide for everybody. Make sure you use your own creation and try and advance what we've done, because it can be advanced and better things done. But we didn't have any guide when we started, so we just did the best we can, and I'm sure there'll be people out there that are well skilled and can potentially teach us things.
Please do.
And then teach the other countries that know what to do to actually super perfect the process. But that's basically it in a nutshell.
That's where we're up to. We hope you can join us, and thank you for listening.